No one in the galaxy had ever seen fear like this. A living dragon lay in the medical bay, its blood glowing, its breath shaking the entire station. Alien medics ran away the moment they saw it. They called it too dangerous to touch, too cursed to heal. But when all hope died inside that room, a single human stepped forward and said, "Move aside. I'll try." The deep space rescue ship drifted silently through the black void, its lights blinking like a dying heartbeat. Inside, no one spoke. The crew knew what they had brought on board was not just another injured traveler. It was something far worse, something that should never have been found drifting alive in space. The cargo doors slowly opened with a heavy mechanical sound. Cold air rushed into the medical bay as containment fields activated one after another. Even before the stretcher fully slid out, every sense in the room screamed warnings. The creature lay on a reinforced medical platform, barely held in place by gravity clamps. At first glance, it looked like a dragon from ancient myths, something out of forgotten stories. But this was not a myth. This was real. Its massive body was covered in dark, metallic scales, but many of them were cracked or shattered. Strange glowing veins ran beneath its skin, pulsing weakly like broken circuits. One of its wings dragged uselessly beside it, burned so badly that parts of the membrane had turned into ash-like fragments floating in the air. Every breath it took sounded heavy, unstable, like the air itself was being torn apart. The moment the creature entered the medical bay, every alarm system activated at once. Red lights flashed across the walls. Warning! Unknown bioenergy signature detected. Warning! High-level threat classification. Warning! Evacuation recommended. Alien medics froze in place. Some stepped back instantly, their instincts taking over before logic could even respond. Others stared at the creature's readings, trying to understand what they were seeing, but nothing made sense. One of the senior alien doctors whispered, "This cannot be real." The creature did not match any known species database, not even close. And then the deeper fear began to settle in. Ancient records, old, almost erased warnings from early interstellar exploration, began to auto-display on the medical screens. The system, without command, pulled up forbidden data. A phrase appeared again and again across every monitor. "Do not treat. Do not touch. Do not wake." The words repeated like a curse. A junior medic took one step forward, then stopped, trembling. "Is this a class-null organism?" he asked quietly. No one answered, because everyone already knew the truth forming in their minds. This was not just a wounded creature. This was something the galaxy had once feared enough to erase from official history. The dragon's body shifted slightly. Every alien in the room flinched at the same time. Its claws scraped faintly against the metal platform, leaving glowing marks that hissed like burning acid. The energy leaking from its body was not stable. It reacted to emotion, movement, even thought. The air around it felt heavy, charged, like a storm waiting to explode. One of the medics suddenly dropped his tools. They clattered loudly on the floor, but no one reacted. All attention was locked on the creature. "I am not staying here," another medic said quickly, backing away. His voice broke slightly. "This is not a patient. This is a disaster." Slowly, fear spread like a chain reaction. One by one, the alien medics began to step away. Some turned their backs completely. Others refused to look at it directly, as if eye contact alone might trigger something catastrophic. The senior doctor tried to maintain control. "We follow protocol," she said firmly, though her voice shook. "We observe from distance. No physical contact." But even she was already stepping back, because deep inside, every instinct screamed the same thing. If this wakes up fully, nothing here survives. The medical bay felt smaller now, the air thicker, the silence louder. Only the alarms continued to echo through the room. And then, a sound broke the tension. A slow inhale. The dragon moved slightly. Its head tilted just a few centimeters, chains and clamps tightening instantly. Its cracked scales shifted, releasing a faint glow that spread across the floor like veins of light. Then one eye opened. It was not fully awake, not yet, but that single eye was enough. A deep glowing amber light filled the room. Not just light, but pressure, a force that pressed against every living being in the bay. Glass panels vibrated. Loose tools lifted slightly off the ground. Even the alarm seemed to stutter for a moment, as if afraid to continue. Every alien froze completely. No one moved. No one breathed properly. It felt like the entire station had just fallen into the gaze of something ancient, something that did not belong in their universe. The dragons I shifted slowly, scanning the room, not searching, not confused, just aware. And in that moment, every alien medic understood the same terrifying truth without speaking aloud. They had not brought in a patient. They had brought in a judgment. And the worst part, it was still waking up. The moment the dragon's eye opened, the entire medical bay fell into a deeper state of fear. No one moved for several seconds. Even the blinking red alarm seemed less important now. The creature was awake enough to notice them, but not fully awake yet. That made it worse. Outside the medical bay, emergency sirens began to spread through the ship. A cold command voice came through every speaker. Lockdown protocol initiated. Seal all medical sections. No one enters. No one exits. Heavy blast doors started sliding down across corridors with a deep mechanical roar. One by one, sections of the ship were cut off like closing wounds. The medical bay became isolated, trapped in its own sealed silence. Inside, the alien medics stood frozen, watching the dragon. No one trusted their instincts anymore, not even their science. The ship's main computer tried to scan the creature again. Error. It failed instantly. Another attempt. Error. Again and again, every system that tried to analyze the dragon collapsed or returned meaningless data. It was as if reality itself refused to describe what was lying on the table. One technician stared at the screen, his hands shaking. "It's not just unknown," he whispered. "It's incompatible with our systems." That word spread fear even faster than alarms. Incompatible. Not just dangerous. Not just powerful. But something that did not fit into their understanding of physics, biology, or logic. Then the second layer of fear activated. Ancient warning files, buried deep in the ship's restricted archives, unlocked themselves again without permission. It was as if the system itself was trying to explain what was happening. A classification appeared. BAO curse entity detected. The term sent a wave of panic through the room. A bio curse was not just an infection. It was something far worse than alien science. It meant a living system that could corrupt other systems, not just biological, but mechanical, neural, even digital. A being that could spread instability simply by existing too close. One medic stepped back until he hit the wall. "This is impossible," he said. "Those records are myth, old fear stories." But even as he said it, the dragon moved again, a slow, painful motion. Its chest rose unevenly. Its wings trembled. The burned edges of its body cracked slightly, releasing faint sparks of glowing energy that floated upward like dying stars. Then it made a sound. It was not a roar, not aggression. It was weak, broken, almost like a cry. A deep, painful sound echoed to the medical bay, vibrating through the metal walls. The sound carried suffering, not threat, but no one dared to react with compassion. Fear had already replaced all other emotions. One of the younger medics covered his ears. It's in pain," he whispered. But an older medic immediately grabbed his arm. "Do not say that," he warned sharply. "Do not humanize it." The room grew even quieter. The dragon's breathing became uneven. Each breath sounded like something tearing inside it. Its glowing veins flickered unpredictably, sometimes bright, sometimes fading like a dying signal. The energy in the room started to fluctuate. Monitors flickered. Lights dimmed for a second, then returned. A few tools on the table vibrated slightly, as if reacting to invisible waves. One engineer swallowed hard. "Its presence is interfering with station systems," he said. "Even at this level, it's affecting us." That was when the worst realization hit everyone. If it could do this while unconscious and injured, what would happen if it fully woke up? Silence spread again. No one wanted to answer that question. A senior medic looked at the dragon, then at the sealed doors, then at the failed scanners. His face was pale. His voice came out barely above a whisper. "If it wakes fully, The station might not survive. No one disagreed. No one even tried. The statement hung in the air like a final verdict. The medical bay felt smaller now. The walls seemed closer. The air heavier. Every sound, every breath, every alarm pulse felt amplified. The dragon shifted slightly again. Its cracked scales scraped the metal table, producing a faint grinding sound that made several aliens flinch. Its eye remained half open, glowing softly now, watching without focus, but still watching, not attacking, not defending, just existing in pain. And that made it even more terrifying, because something that powerful, something classified as a bio-curse, was not even trying to harm them. It was simply injured. And yet, the entire ship was afraid of it. Outside, the lockdown doors sealed completely with a final thud. The medical bay was now cut off from the rest of the ship. Inside, only the sound of alarms, unstable breathing, and the soft, broken cries of the dragon remained. And in that sealed silence, fear continued to grow, waiting for what would come next. The medical bay remained locked in silence, broken only by unstable alarms and the heavy sound of the dragon's uneven breathing. Fear had filled every corner of the sealed room. No one dared to move closer. No one dared to make a decision. It felt like time itself had slowed down, waiting for something terrible to happen. Then the outer door of the medical bay hissed open. At first, no one noticed. The emergency lights were too bright. The attention of every alien medic was still locked on the dragon. Even the security systems did not immediately react. The figure that entered was small compared to chaos in the room, almost unnoticed at first. It was a human, a junior crew member in a simple station uniform, holding a basic medical scanner in one hand. He stepped inside quietly, as if entering a normal examination room. His eyes moved across the scene once, slow, careful, observing everything. The dragon, the broken medical systems, the frozen alien medics near the walls, and the sealed blast doors. He did not panic. He did not stop. He simply walked forward. For a moment, no one reacted. It was as if the room needed time to process, that someone had entered willingly. Then a sharp alien voice broke the silence. "Get out!" one of the medics shouted, pointing at him. "You will die if you stay here." Another stepped forward, quickly. "This is a Class Null bio-curse event. You are not cleared for entry." But the human did not stop walking. He did not even look at them properly. His focus stayed on the dragon. That alone shocked him. Most species would not even stand inside this room for more than a few seconds. But this human, he was moving closer. Carefully, not rushing, not afraid. He reached the edge of the medical platform and stopped. The dragon's eye was still half open, glowing faintly. The energy in the room pulsed weakly, reacting to its unstable condition. The human raised the scanner. A few alien medics gasped. "Don't scan it," one of them warned. The system's already failed. But the human ignored the warning and activated the device. A soft light passed over the dragon's body. For a moment, nothing happened. Then the scanner flickered. Once, twice, but it did not shut down. The human tilted his head slightly, analyzing the readings displayed on the small screen. His expression stayed calm, almost neutral. He tapped the device once, adjusting the settings manually. Behind him, the alien medics were in shock. "He's still there," one whispered. "Why is he still there?" The human finally spoke, his voice steady. "This isn't a curse," he said simply. The room went silent. Every alien turned toward him at once. He looked again at the readings, then at the dragon's condition. It's a system overload. Bioenergy feedback loop. Its body is collapsing under its own internal power. A medic shook his head. "That's impossible. It matches ancient curse classification." The human finally looked up at them. His eyes were calm, but firm. "I've seen worse on Earth," he said. No one understood what he meant at first. Earth was a primitive world compared to galactic civilizations, a place of early technology, early medicine, early everything. It was not supposed to produce knowledge equal to this situation. But the human continued. "This isn't magic. It's biology reacting under extreme damage. It's still alive. That means it can still be saved." The words hit the room like a shockwave. Still alive, can still be saved. For the first time since the dragon arrived, those words were spoken without fear. An alien medic stepped forward slightly. "You don't understand what you are dealing with," he said. "If you fail, it may react violently." The human nodded once. "Then I won't fail." Simple words. No pride, no arrogance, just certainty. He placed the scanner down beside the dragon and opened a small medical kit from his belt. It was basic compared to alien technology. Simple tools, manual instruments, nothing advanced or glowing. The alien medics stared at him in disbelief. "He's going to touch it," someone whispered. The dragon's breathing shifted slightly. Its eye moved toward the human, not fully focused, but aware. The energy in the room pulsed once, then stabilized for a second, as if reacting differently to his presence. The human slowly extended his hands, not touching yet, just observing the injuries closely. His movements were controlled and careful, like someone used to working under pressure where mistakes cost lives. Behind him, the alien medics remained frozen. No one stopped him anymore, because for the first time, someone had not run. And in that sealed medical bay, inside a station filled with fear, a human was now standing between a dying dragon and complete disaster. The medical bay was no longer just a sealed room of fear. It had become something else now, a place of silent disbelief. The human stood alone beside the injured dragon. Behind him, the alien medics remained pressed near the glass barrier, watching through reinforced observation panels. None of them had been allowed back inside. Command had not stopped the human yet, but no one had expected him to actually continue. Inside, the human opened his small medical kit. It looked almost too simple for a situation like this. There were no glowing alien tools, no advanced scanners, no energy stabilizers, just basic human equipment, manual injectors, sealed bandages, thin cutting tools, and a few small diagnostic strips. The aliens outside exchanged worried looks. One whispered, "That will not work on something like that." But the human did not hesitate. He began carefully assessing the dragon's injuries up close. The creature's massive body was still partially restrained, but its breathing had become more unstable. The glowing veins under its scales flickered faster now, like a system on the edge of collapse. The human reached out slowly. The moment his fingers came close to the dragon's body, the room reacted. The dragon suddenly jolted. A violent surge of energy exploded outward from its body. The medical lights burst into flickering chaos. Warning alarms screamed again. Several monitors shut down instantly. Outside, the alien medics stepped back in panic. "It's reacting," one shouted. He triggered it. Inside, the human was thrown slightly backward, but he did not fall. He steadied himself, gritted his teeth, and stayed in place. The dragon's eye opened wider. Its body trembled violently. Cracked scales released bursts of unstable energy, scattering across the floor like lightning trapped in liquid form. The air grew thick and heavy again, vibrating with uncontrolled power. The human raised his arms slightly, not in defense, but to keep balance. For a moment, everything looked like it was about to collapse. Then the human spoke. His voice was calm, soft, almost gentle. "It's okay," he said. "You're not a monster. You're just hurt." The words seemed strange in the chaos. They did not match the danger in the room. They did not match the warnings, the alarms, or the fear outside. But the human kept speaking. "I know pain when I see it. You're not trying to hurt anyone. You're just fighting your own damage." Slowly, he moved closer again, carefully avoiding sudden movements. The dragon reacted again, but weaker this time. The energy surge rose, then dropped unevenly, like a system losing strength instead of attacking. Outside the glass, the alien medics were frozen. One of them whispered, "He is calming it." Another shook his head in disbelief. "That's not possible. Emotional speech cannot affect bioenergy reactions." But the readings on their screen said otherwise. The instability levels were dropping. Not fast, not stable yet, but dropping. Inside the room, the human began working. He identified the worst damage first. Fractures in the dragon's wing membrane and internal energy ruptures near its chest. Carefully, he applied pressure bandages, then used a small manual sealing tool to close exposed tissue areas. Every time he touched the dragon, the energy shifted. Sometimes it spiked. Sometimes it pulsed weakly. But it no longer exploded outward like before. The human adjusted his movements constantly, reading the reactions like feedback instead of fear. Sweat formed on his forehead. His breathing stayed steady. He kept talking not loudly but consistently. "You're still here," he said. "That means your body is still fighting. I just need to help it fight the right way." The dragon's eye remained open, but now it was less violent, more observant, more tired. The room's energy slowly stabilized. Lights stopped flickering as intensely. Some systems rebooted automatically. Even the air pressure felt more normal. Outside, the alien medics leaned closer to the glass. They were no longer stepping back. They were watching in silence. One medic finally spoke, barely audible. It should have destroyed him by now. Another responded softly, or he should have run away. But neither had happened. Instead, the human continued treating the impossible patient. He reached deeper injuries with careful precision, using pressure control techniques and stabilizing methods that did not rely on alien technology, but on understanding the body's response. The dragon let out a weak sound again. But this time, it was not violent. It was tired, almost accepting. The human paused for a moment, then gently placed his hand near the creature's neck, not pressing, just steadying its movement. "You're safer now," he said quietly, and slowly, for the first time since arrived on the station, the dragon stopped fighting its own pain. The medical bay was finally quiet, not silent like before, filled with fear and alarms, but a different kind of quiet, the kind that comes after chaos begins to settle. The lights had stabilized. The warning sirens were gone. Even the strange energy in the air had faded into a low, harmless hum. The human stood beside the dragon, still focused, still careful. His hands were steady, though his body showed signs of exhaustion. He had not stepped away for a long time. Every movement he made had been slow, precise, and controlled. The dragon lay still. Its breathing was no longer broken. It was slow but stable. For a few seconds, nothing changed. Then it happened. The dragon's remaining eye slowly opened. But this time, there was no sudden surge of energy, no violent reaction, no shaking of the room. The medical bay did not scream in alarms. Everything stayed calm. Outside the reinforced glass, the alien medics leaned forward slightly. They held their breath. This was the moment they feared. Or maybe the moment they did not understand. The dragon's glowing eye shifted. It looked directly at the human. The room felt different in that instant. Not dangerous, not unstable, just focused. The human did not move. He did not step back. He did not raise any defense. He simply met the dragon's gaze calmly, as if this was the most natural thing in the universe. Seconds passed, then more. The dragon did not attack. It did not react with anger. Instead, something changed in its expression. Its glowing eye dimmed slightly, not in weakness, but in recognition. It was looking at him, not as a threat, not as an enemy, but as something else entirely. Safety. For the first time since it arrived, the dragon did not see fear reflected back at it. Every alien who had stood in this room before had been terrified. Every system had treated it as a disaster. Every voice had called it a curse. But the human was different. He had stayed. He had worked. He had not run. Slowly, the dragon moved its head. Just a small motion, careful, controlled. And then it lowered its head toward the human, not collapsing, not falling, but lowering. A deliberate gesture, a sign of trust. The alien medics outside froze completely. No one spoke. No one even blinked. One of them slowly raised a hand toward the glass, as if trying to confirm it was real. "This cannot be happening," a medic whispered. Another shook his head. "That creature does not submit. It does not trust." But the evidence was right in front of them. The dragon, classified as a bio-curse entity, the creature that had shut down systems, triggered lockdowns, and caused panic across the entire station, was now calm because of one human. The medical bay doors slowly unlocked with a soft mechanical sound. Command had been watching everything remotely. They had seen the energy spikes, the failed systems, the stabilization, and now the impossible peace. The doors opened just enough for the alien medics to step back inside. They moved slowly, carefully, as if the room itself might still break. But nothing happened. No alarms. No spikes. No danger. Only silence. They looked at the dragon, then at the human, then back again. One of the senior medics whispered, "We left it." Another added softly, "We called it cursed." The realization hit them slowly. They had abandoned the patient out of fear, but the human had stayed. At the control station above, the ship's commander watched the final readings. The system showed full stabilization of the dragon's energy field. The bio-curse signature, once uncontrollable, was now contained and balanced. Impossible, yet real. The commander leaned closer to the screen, his voice low. "Humans," he said quietly. He paused, as if searching for the right words. "Humans don't follow fear. They break it." In the medical bay, the human finally stepped back slightly, lowering his hands for the first time. His work was not completely finished, but the worst danger had passed. The dragon remained still, watching him, not as a victim, not as a threat, but as something that had been understood for the first time in a long time. Outside, the alien medics no longer looked at the dragon with pure fear. They looked at it with something new: confusion, respect, and shame, because they had learned something too late. A being they called a curse had only needed help, and a human, one who had no reason to stay, had been the only one brave enough to give it. As the medical bay finally settled into peace, one truth spread silently across the station and beyond it into the wider galaxy. Power does not always come from fear. Sometimes it comes from the courage to step forward when everyone else steps back.